Not only did they not get to 15%, Trump slapped 25% tariffs on them and railed at them about importing Russian oil, even as the West imports Russian energy and fertilizer and all these other sorts of things from Russia. What a stark turnaround this is from the first Trump administration with the Modi-Trump bromance. I honestly find it stupefying. I don't have any clarity here, but the US and India have been negotiating a trade deal for months. And the Indian side was so optimistic that they were leaking to Indian press over the last 6-7 weeks. Hey, like it's the fourth round, it's the fifth round, we're going to get it, we're going to get to 15%. Not only did they not get to 15%, Trump slapped 25% tariffs on them and railed at them about importing Russian oil, even as the West imports Russian energy and fertilizer and all these other sorts of things from Russia. But then just this morning, we're recording Wednesday, August 6th, he added another 25%. Because he's unhappy about India importing oil and about the way that this has gone. And what a stark turnaround this is from the first Trump administration with the Modi-Trump bromance. You might remember Trump welcoming Modi at this big stadium in Houston. Howdy Modi. It was one of the craziest moments of the first Trump administration from my point of view. But it also, I honestly find it stupefying. I cannot explain it. I have been trying to think about it now for 48 hours and I am just drawing blanks. The model, the way I'm thinking about this is the United States and China have been the two most powerful economic nations in the world for the past 30 plus years. In many sense, it was a symbiotic relationship. The US got cheap goods, China got to amass wealth and know-how, and that system is unraveling. And India is the country that should do the best. Like they are the ones that should soak up the interest here. It's 1 billion plus people. It's really poor, which means there's a lot of room for it to grow. There's not a whole lot, like, yes, they have some problems, but all countries have problems. Like you would think that India is going to step up there. And you would think that the United States, like the British in the 19th century, would look at India and say, aha, like here is a steroid shot for us. Here is a way for us to propel ourselves forward another couple of decades, even though we have high levels of debt. And even though our economy has become imbalanced because of our relationship with China over the last 30 years, let's make good on our relations with India. They're the largest democracy in the world to boot. Like this makes a lot of sense. And what the Trump administration has done, starting with India-Pakistan brief war earlier this year and trying to take credit for getting the sides to stop fighting because they threatened sanctions, hosting a Pakistani official or general at the White House, releasing statements about how they're going to help develop Pakistan's mineral resources and that relations with Pakistan are so good, Pakistan nominating President Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize, and yet with India just spitting in their face over and over and over again, and this latest thing just being the latest spat. Maybe this is step 5 of Marco's negotiation tactics with India, but I have to confess to you, it's very, very rare that I get to something in geopolitics where I am flummoxed. I have no clue what the United States is doing here. It does not make any strategic sense to me. Does it make any strategic sense to you, Rob? And does it make you think at all differently about India in general if you're thinking about emerging markets and global macro?
Well, you're the geopolitical strategist, so I won't, if it doesn't make sense to you, it sure isn't going to make sense to me. But I guess the thing I would come back to is, the comment that you've made several times in the recent past year, that the US they're not playing the cards that they have. They're acting like they are the global hegemon, and they're not. That's what stands out to me here, that they think they can bully India and get everyone basically to do what they want. I'm not sure that that's the case. From an investment standpoint, particularly with regard to India, I think it's an interesting test. Do they bend and do everything they can to try to get the US sweet? Or do they draw a hard line at some point and sort of reinforce the fact that they themselves are a growing, independent sphere of power in this multipolar world? So that's what I'm kind of watching and waiting to see. I mean, some of this stuff, the 180 on some of the tech companies in particular, like Apple, the headline came out 2 weeks ago, Apple's now sourcing more from, like, how you can, it suggests to me that there's not a policy. Again, it's like, it's not 5-dimensional chess. It's just sort of emotion and chaos in terms of what's being said and what's being decided.
And the most reasonable explanation is that the Trump administration really wants to put pressure on Russia, and getting India to not import Russian oil is a good way to do that. But boy, are you burning long-term goodwill to do that. Like, there's an easier way to do that if you want to do it. And pissing in India's face, it seems to me, is not the right way.